I remember how God got hold of my heart when He started to touch me as a teenager. And I said, Lord, I will do whatever you want for my life. I would go to whatever country you want. I will give my whole life. It had nothing to do because I was so in love with missions or in love with preaching. It's that God grabbed my heart and ministry became an overflow with that. But after a while, ministry begins to pick up, your name, people know, people invite you to speak, you become busy, the finances come in, with it comes complaints, people calling you a heretic, people call you crazy, all kinds of stuff comes in, and then many times the ministry to Jesus takes a second place while we're running ministry, and we run out to the same problem that apostles did. Widows are complaining, things are not happening, we're feeling burned out, picking up weight, unhappy at home, wife is complaining, kids are complaining, money is struggling, everything else, and on the outside we look so successful, on the inside we're bankrupt. And it's possible to be like that in ministry. My friends, you will see how many pastors today commit suicide. It's crazy, a lot, because ministry cannot sustain you. Ministry is not the fuel. Serving God on Sunday is not your fuel. It's supposed to be the overflow of your relationship with God. I love this example in the Old Testament from Vashti and Queen Esther. Vashti was serving in the palace to the women, and the king beckoned her and said, come into my presence, and Vashti says, I can't. And not because she was cheating on him, it's because Vashti was busy with the palace. And I like to put it like this, is that Vashti didn't go into the presence when she was commanded. Esther went into the presence uninvited. Nobody invited her to go to the king. She says, I'm going uninvited. See, do not wait for God to lead you to prayer. You're mature. Lead yourself to prayer. Do not wait for God to speak to you that you need to wake up a little bit earlier or take some time out of your busy schedule to spend time with Him. You need to go uninvited. And the king stretched his scepter to her, and then God changed things in her life. See, some people only wait for God to speak to them. Most likely if He will speak, you will say no. You will be like Vashti, and then there's a guilt that will come in because you feel like you're disobeying God, and you will not say no because you're a bad person. It's because you are a busy person, and if devil can make you bad, he'll make you busy. Vashti was she wasn't a bad queen, she was just a busy queen, and she says, I can't go. I want you to see the second contrast is Vashti prepared a feast for women. Esther led women to fast. See, people of the presence. Vashti loved the palace. Esther loved the presence. Vashti lost her crown. Esther saved her country. One time I was praying and the Lord spoke to me through this verse. God speaks to me through the Bible. Actually, He speaks to a lot of people through the Bible. That's mainly how He speaks. And I felt that He said this. He said, if you're busy with the palace, but you reject my presence, He said, this is what's going to happen to you, what happened to Vashti. She lost her crown, but she never stopped being his wife. She became his concubine. She stopped being close. She stopped having that authority. And in Revelation, actually, there's a similar verse. Revelation chapter 2, it says this, nevertheless, I have this against you, that you have left your first love. Therefore remember from where you have fallen. Repent and do the first works, or else I will come quickly and remove your lampstand from its place unless you repent. It's interesting what Jesus says, if I lose love, but I still labor like crazy for God. Jesus doesn't say He's going to remove my name from the book of life. He just says, I lose my light, I lose my fire, and I lose my difference and distinction in the spiritual world. I will still have the position, I just won't have the power. I will still have the title, I just won't have the towel. I will still have maybe the certain influence, but I will not have the impact. And so I just want to challenge every person in here today. God's number one assignment, God's number one calling for you is not to serve, it's to be with Him.